Hey everybody, welcome to my first episode on Model Railroading USA, and in today's episode we're here to tell you about a vintage Lionel train lot that I had recently picked up for free. While my dad was preaching at a church, he had told me that this guy had a large Lionel train collection that was vintage that he needed to get rid of. So therefore the guy ended up giving all of it to me for free. And there was quite a bit of stuff here. It came in about 10 of these army chests. These ones are empty. You know, I've gone through them all. And there's definitely some interesting pieces that I have found. A lot of it is old Lionel tinplate stuff. And that's stuff that I'm really excited about. But yeah, we'll go ahead and go over some of the highlights of this collection. Because if I was to go over every single little piece, it would take, you know, an hour or something worth of video. But if you guys want a video like that, just please let me know in the comment section and I'll make one. The main biggest highlights to me was some of these old school Lionel buildings and structures, especially this coaling tower right here. I remember it from I Love Toy Trains. And, you know, and there was a couple more things that were wrapped up, like this railroad crossing down here. But there's just an awful lot of stuff. I am wearing gloves while handling all of this just because, you know, this stuff is 50 to 60 years old. And I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not going to get tetanus or anything, but... As far as things that were actually new in the box that I have found, these are from the 80s. These are Lionel MPC era box cars. I'm not sure exactly which time frame they are, but they came new in box. We've got this Industrial Railroad box car, a Rio Grande box car, a nickel plate road box car, and then by far my favorite new train car, this little Lionel flat car, and it has a speedboat on top of it, which actually looks an awful lot like my grandfather's speedboat, which is why I love it so much. After going through a lot of this, there was definitely a lot of locomotives, and a lot of them are still in here, but they're just copies of ones that I already have, which I'll show you. But some of the highlights of locomotives, I had found these post-war F3 units of Santa Fe, and they appear to be original Lionel. The only issue with them is they are a little bit corroded on the bottom, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get them to run, but I'll definitely try, and the B unit's over there. You know, a couple more things I had found. I've got a lot of these Lionel tinplate tenders. I'm not sure which locomotives they go to. This is definitely one of the ones I'm suspicious about if it goes to or not. You know, and then another one of these interesting locomotives I found that actually, you know, there is a lot of rust, but this one may be salvageable. I have no idea what kind of unit this is. One thing that definitely doesn't go well with me is electric units. My expertise is more in steam and diesel. And then I do recognize this set. This is a American Flyer Hiawatha set. And I actually have all three of the original train cars. And it looks like the guy that owned this ended up buying a fourth one here. But yeah, like I said, this is 4 different tinplate tenders, which is a lot of different tenders. And then I also have a lot of these die-cast tenders with the whistle in them that are small, because there's like 5 copies of a certain kind of locomotive, which I can show you right now. I ended up getting about 5 or 6 of these. These are Lionel Scout locomotives, and this is the best condition one. The rest of them are just rusted and deteriorated. And I have tested this one after lubricating it up. It does work, and I'm very happy about that. And then I put my favorite tender that I found behind it, which is this Rock Island one. You know, I love anything up north like that. But yeah, and then we'll go on to the best diesel unit I found. This condition diesel unit that I had found after going through the collection is this Lionel locomotive here. I'm not sure exactly what kind of locomotive it's supposed to be based off of, as it looks like multiple different ones. As you can see, the bottom of it is in really good shape, and this one actually runs completely flawlessly, really smooth, with no issues. The only issue that I have found, though, is this is a little bit finicky. You know, I know that most of these post-war locomotives work like this, where the direction changes. Sometimes if you put it in reverse, it still wants to go forward, and you kind of have to wiggle around with it before it'll finally work. This might be an unrelated side note, but I absolutely love this caboose that I found. You know, I've always loved the Lionel line stuff, and then this brown color. Believe it or not, that's one of my favorite colors for train cars, but that's besides the point. Over here is, this is definitely one of the highlights that I have found with this collection. Now, it's in really rough shape, but I don't know if you can see that front truck there. I'm pretty sure this is a 700E Hudson. I'm not sure exactly which year of 700E Hudson it is, but it is a Lionel Hudson, and it has the side rods just like the 700E Hudson. A rare post-war piece that I have found here is this 284 Berkshire. I know they're just a little bit more uncommon than some of the other ones. And then I also found a Jersey Central Lines post-war tender. If anybody knows what locomotive this goes to, please let me know, because after digging through them, I didn't seem to find one that this goes with. I'm sure it will work with any post-war locomotive because they all have like the same kind of tender. And then this is the tender that actually goes with the Hudson right here that I found paired with it. But yeah, so I have the 700D Hudson and the Lionel Lines tender to go with it. This is by far some of my most favorite and rare items that I have found in this collection. These are Lionel 10-plate train cars, and these are all original. I do know that MTH has made some reproductions of these, and I'm very happy to have the original ones, and I'm hoping eventually to get the MTH ones. Now, the reason I'm not wearing white gloves or anything with these is because these are really rusted and stuff, and the condition is pretty poor. I'm hoping to maybe get these restored just a little bit. I don't want to ruin them because these are incredibly rare and hard to find. But yeah, I have them on this display track that I have right here that's made by Atlas. Before I get to the train cars that I found that I actually want to use on my layout after I get them oiled up and stuff, I found a bunch of these, I guess these are Markland trains. And what I found really interesting about, let me get just the locomotive here, is I found the track that goes with this. It's 3-rail HO scale. This is actually how the locomotive gets its power. And the reason I found this interesting is because I had no idea. I used to do HO scale, and this is the first time I'm hearing about a 3-rail HO scale track system. But I found this locomotive. I did find a bigger tender, and it does say Markland on those sides. That's how I knew these are Markland trains. I don't know where the locomotive for this is, and this guy had explained to me that some people have came and just grabbed certain pieces from this collection. So I'm assuming that's what happened with this, but all this stuff is going to go to Tyler because he has an HO scale layout, and I obviously have an O scale layout, so just be better. But there's a bunch of train cars here, and these are fully die cast. I mean, these things are heavy for being HO scale, and they're not even, you know, detailed interior. I'm not sure exactly what era these are from in American history, but that's besides the point. Now, these are the highlights, in my opinion, of the collection. All of these do work, and they are really clean as far as like the bottom of the wheels go, but they still need to be oiled as they haven't moved in probably 30 to 40 years if I had to take a guess. This one's a little bit more interesting to me as it looks very similar to 10-plate, and it weighs a lot more than the rest of these train cars, but it's got the modern system of coupling on it. So I don't know if this is like a premium option or something, kind of like how we have Legacy and you know, Lion Chief and stuff now. I'm kind of curious about that. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces right here, as it's the original Lionel Lines one, and the crane is actually still intact. I know kids would get these back in the day all the time and, you know, ruin the little hook right here, but surprisingly that hook is not ruined. I do love this tank car here, and I cannot wait to get this one operating on the layout. I think it's going to go great with my Pennsylvania Railroad one. And before anybody asks, this guy packed his trains in Jack Daniels boxes, and it's because the inserts are actually pretty perfect size to put train cars in after wrapping them in newspapers. So no, I do not drink alcohol. That is 100% just what the guy packed these in. And you can see here some of the old boxes. I mean, these things were in pretty rough shape, but they did sit in a shed for 30 years. Another couple of highlights from this collection. I love this work train. Or the back of a work train right here. This is one of my favorite train cars. And then I do have three original log dumper cars and all the logs that came with them, which I found really neat. And then this one is very interesting to me as it's longer than any of the other gondolas I found. I'm curious to know more about this, but for now it is one of my favorite ones as I love New York Central. Moving on here, we've got some of my favorite gondola cars that I found in this collection. These are the original loads that went with this Rio Grande gondola car here, and they do still work with it. The Penn Central one I found a bunch of barrels with, which I really wish that he had the original barrel loader, but I did not find that. And then by far my favorite loads, other than the boat in train cars, is these, like, I forgot what these are called, but they hold electrical wires and coils and stuff like that. You know, I work for a carport company, and sometimes I do see these with steel coils on them, which is really cool to me that I have these in O scale now. I know they're kind of conjobbled in a big mess right now, but there's a bunch of original, I would assume these are 10-plate or aluminum, you know, old school Lionel accessories here. I'm not the expert when it comes to vintage stuff. I just recognize things from I Love Toy Trains, in my opinion, and some American Flyer stuff. Things like this signal right here, these are in excellent shape, and I couldn't be happier with them. Now these two boxes here are full of nothing but tubular track, and the only reason I'm not showing y'all is because it's really rusted. There's probably not any saving on these tubular tracks. If I want to run any of these with the classic tubular track, I'll probably go to Menards and order some track from them, because they have some that looks just like the tubular track, but it's brand new, so there's no issues with it. I'm pretty excited with everything I got from this collection. You know, it was a lot of trains, 100% for free. If you guys would like a more in-depth breakdown of every single item in this collection, just let me know. It would take a while to make, but I think it'd be worth it. You know, and just the thought that this was given to me, I'm very thankful and blessed to have all of this given to me. You know, this is something I thought would never end up happening. It's just getting this many trains for free. And the really nice thing about it is this is like perfect timing. I was worried about getting train cars because, you know, they may not be expensive just buying one, but getting multiple at a time, they get really expensive. And, you know, I'm trying to get my O-scale layout going. So it's either buy train cars or buy scenery and track. Thankfully, I now have plenty of train cars to run, and I can work mostly on the layout itself. If you guys enjoyed this first video from me, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment if you, and just, you know, let us know what all kind of videos you'd like. I am going to be doing a review of this locomotive right here that I just recently purchased. It is the third addition to my locomotives with either DCS or Lion Chief in them. I am hoping to get an MTH Premier locomotive eventually, or a Lionel Legacy, but you know, I'm a college student, that's very expensive. So, and the main goal of my layout is to keep on budget, but also be incredibly detailed. So, you know, just let us know down in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see next from Model Railroading USA.